Hello and welcome to the Live, Love, Laugh Lives, where I'm joined by entrepreneurs, employees, employers and enlightened souls, where they're sharing how they live their lives, what they love to do, and along the way we might have a little bit of a laugh as well. Today I am introducing you to an incredible human that I've known for about 3 or 4 years. She is amazing, honestly, like where she gets her energy from, where she does what she does in her normal life, let alone doing lots of other things which we're going to talk about today, is unbelievable. She has got huge amounts of resilience, and we'll hear about when that really came into play in this interview. And also she's on a mission to help other people like herself. So without further ado, I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, and if she has a title, please introduce yourself with your name and your title. Ta-da!
Thank you. So I'm Kath Jones, and I'm a joy explorer. So I'm passionate about finding joy and purpose and authenticity myself, but most importantly helping others to find their joy, purpose and authenticity too.
Brilliant. And so when you say joy finder, like, you know, I kind of feel like you're a little bit like a Dora Explorer. You've got your rucksack on and you're off out looking for joy, right? And people may think that, but actually on a really serious kind of note, there isn't a lot of joy in a lot of people's lives, is there? Would that be a fair comment?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely that. And I think even when people do have a lot of joy in their lives, sometimes it's not always joy from within, it's joy from outside. And I've certainly been in that place many times where my joy was coming from outside. Yeah. And when that outside thing went, so did the joy.
Yeah. And so when you talk about outside things, you know, give us a little bit more, like, you know, why do you do what you do? So what happened to you that made you think, I really need to do something about this?
So I think throughout my life, I've always had many distractions that I thought were going to bring me joy that I didn't realise until very, very recently. So the things that I thought would bring me joy when I was younger were being successful in my career, were qualifications, and probably until about 2016, I had a really poor work-life balance. And then I started to get much more balance back into my life when I realised how much of my own self-worth and my own value and my own joy I was getting from work, and people telling me I'd done a good job and getting achievements, qualifications, etc. And then I started to kind of live my life in a different way with much more balance. But even then, I still used external things to bring me joy. So I was using relationships to bring me joy. I was using alcohol to bring me joy. I was using food to bring me joy. And I'd not really discovered what it was inside of me that was going to truly bring me joy.
Yeah. And I know you did a TEDx Only Talk Women talk for us in 2019. And I said already, you know, it was about resilience. And then, oh my gosh, didn't we go on a journey of resilience? It's like Ted said, oh, you've got a talk called Resilience. Let's test it out. So do you want to just share what happened on that experience from your point of view?
Yeah, so I did a talk on resilience for TEDx, and a lot of it based on my research, based on my experience. And if I'm being really honest, at that time in my life, I'd just gone through a marital separation. And whilst I would say I was really resilient, on reflection now, I probably wasn't hugely joyful. I was resilient and I was making the best of it, but I hadn't found that thing inside of me that was going to bring me true joy. However, with my TEDx talk, TEDx decided that some of the research wasn't quite up to it, and I did get challenged to produce a whole load of evidence around demonstrating why my talk was credible. So Cheryl and I went through a bit of a journey around how I prove everything that I talked about in the talk, even the evidence about the weebles that wobble that don't fall down. But it really tested me, particularly kind of when other people were getting their talks published and mine wasn't getting published, and I started giving myself a whole load of criticism and that kind of negative monkey in my mind that was going mad around I'm not good enough, that was coming back out to play again. And it really taught me a whole heap of stuff in the process around just going through proving I am good enough, which, to be honest, has been a story for me all my life.
Yeah. And I know we can look back at it now. I mean, at the time it was like, oh my God, this is heavy shit. Do you know what I mean? And so we were up at 2:00. I was in Dubai at 2:00. You were gathering evidence. So I was just smiling then when you were saying that, you thought that Joy was getting education and certificates and everything. Thank God for those certificates. I said to Kath, okay, we want a certificate for everything. That, we just want to make sure that TED have got everything they need. I mean, TED's a brand, and we appreciate that. We are sort of smirking now. But at the time, it was like, I want everything. I want your swimming certificates, any bit of evidence. And when Kath sent me this, it was almost like a bundle for a divorce. If you've ever done a court case, like metaphorically, this pile of evidence arrived. And then what was really interesting, because I've been speaking to some beautiful people, today, is that about this kind of two sides of a coin. We put they said yes, they got enough evidence. They put your video up, and it was like in super nanoseconds there was 2,500 views, and it was like the most views that anybody had had. And then there were people who'd had their videos up previously who were like, oh, well, I wanted those views. Well, no, you didn't want to go through what we've just been through to get those views, did you? Oh, well, no, but it was interesting, wasn't it? And now we can look back and we can laugh about it and say, that was great. So thank God for those certificates, and you having this experience of thinking external would be great, right? But then, of course, you talked about some other things such as alcohol, and I know that I've known you for a little while, so we've had some conversations. I used to drink, you used to drink at the minute, of course you don't. Mine's like, I never will. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, who knows, right? But what gave you this idea to write a book? Because you've just written a book recently, haven't you?
I have. So when I joined the Professional Speakers Academy, I joined really not to speak, but I joined to write a book, and that was kind of that was my motivation, and that was maybe 4 years ago now that I joined. But I just did not feel the kind of pull to join it, to write the book. And it's been something that, I want to do it, but I just didn't feel that I had enough knowledge, that I had enough experience, and that I had enough insights, and that what I was going to write would be helpful to anybody. And I think through the journey that I've been on in the Live, Love, Laugh Lounge, and just the insights that I've got, and some of the experiences that life's thrown at me through the past kind of few years, I kind of feel now that I'm more confident in the value that some of the things that I'm sharing in the book will bring, and particularly from some of the sharing that I've been doing on social media and some of the kind of coaching that I've been doing with people, that actually there is credibility in what I'm doing, and that actually some of the honesty in which I share things, which to me sometimes feels a bit self-indulgent, actually might be of value to other people that are going through difficult phases in their life. But it's been a journey through 4 years, and through the 4 years of support that I've had from different people, including yourself and Marion, around kind of feeling that actually there is value and this is something that's needed in the world. I think through COVID, many people have increased alcohol intake, and I certainly increased alcohol intake to a point where it was becoming detrimental to my health and to my mental well-being. And I just wanted to share really an honest journey of what it's like quitting alcohol, because some of my best learning came from people that have been through this experience before, and the real honesty in which they shared it.
And I mean, you're right. In COVID, lots of things, changed, some positive, some maybe not so positive, but, the change definitely came there. And so in writing the book, it originally was a journal, I think you said to me, wasn't it? And then it was like, well, how can I make it into a book without it sounding like, like you said, self-indulgent? But I think Adrian Mole, 7 3/4 or whatever it was, I think he did all right. Do you know what I mean? So this is an adult kind of journal, and the fact that you've been open and honest with it, it's not kind of like, oh yeah, I used to. I mean, you weren't an alcoholic. No. Let's make that really obvious. It wasn't like you were functioning alcohol. You didn't drink during the week. You drank when you were on holiday. You drank when you went out with friends and and relatives, etc. And you drank on a weekend, but not like every single day. So how did you realise that there was a problem with it then?
So I guess the realisation came from me that, so I didn't drink during the week. It was very much a weekend thing. However, the realisation came when I had a week's holiday, and I drank every day whilst I was on holiday. That's just what I've always done, because, you know, that's what people do when they're on holiday, isn't it? Well, many people do when they're on holiday. And I got sick of the palpitations at 3 o'clock every morning, waking me up, not being able to get back to sleep, waking up in the morning and feeling absolutely dreadful, not having any energy to do anything, not having the motivation to go out and exercise or eat healthily. It was way easier to get a bacon butty in the morning than it was to kind of make myself a healthy yogurt or whatever it might be. And I just felt that it was becoming too much of a crutch for me, because it was helping me with the positive things, but it was also helping me with the negative things around loneliness and stress and anxiety. And I just felt that actually it needs to go for a period of time. But it was only when I started re-educating myself on what alcohol does and the immediate impact, the immediate high it gives you in the first drink that never replicates itself on the second, third or fourth drink. And actually by the fourth drink, the high that it gives you actually becomes a depressive impact. And it was all about that re-education of myself about what alcohol does and why it gave me that immediate high, that I thought I need to learn how to replace this feeling naturally and not with a substance. Yeah.
And you went on another journey after that. I mean, I heard Kath talk recently, and you were talking about, it was your birthday, wasn't it? And of course, it was the first alcohol-free birthday that you'd had. And you had some cake, though, didn't you, of course, to celebrate? And how did that turn out on that day?
So it was a combination of birthday and Valentine's Day. So my birthday is very close to Valentine's Day. So I had a lovely birthday party with friends. So I decided that I wanted to do something that was not alcohol focused, but was fun. And so I did an online Zoom cocktail party, but alcohol free for me. Everybody else had alcohol, but I went for the alcohol free options with the kids. And the party was great. And the day after, I was looking at everybody's pictures on Facebook around lovely Valentine's Day, wishing each other a happy Valentine's Day. And I got this awful kind of feeling of sadness, of loneliness, and everything that I'd felt in terms of joy the day before of having celebrated a birthday with friends without alcohol, it turned into kind of real quite depression. And I know that Facebook isn't an accurate representation of life, but to me in that moment, it was a very accurate representation of life. And so I went to eat cake. So my goddaughter owns an amazing bakery, and she brought me lots of cakes round for my birthday, which people hadn't taken away with them. So I think I ate what was the equivalent of about 25 cupcakes in a 2-day spell. And I was just trying to fill the emptiness that was inside of me. And it was at that point that I realised that whilst I'd been filling the void that alcohol had left with good stuff, I'd not actually really put the joy back in that alcohol used to give me. And so that took me on a different quest about not just finding healthy habits, but finding joyful things to experience in my life too.
Yeah. And I love the fact that from that you then started to create a step-by-step process that you were using that now you share with other people. What's that called? Tell us a bit about that.
So it's called the Joyful Life Liberator, and it's got 5 different ingredients to the recipe that I call it. So they are kind of looking at your relationship with yourself, how you embrace yourself, your ethos and your mindset, your energy, so your physical energy, your enjoyment and how you really build those fun activities into your life, and your ethics, so the kind of habits and the rituals and the magic that you put into your life every day. And the mix will be different for everybody, but for me, having that framework that I know that I need to live my life by has really helped me to move forward with joy, with purpose, with authenticity. Now, it might feel hard work to some people, and, you know, I think to some it could feel like hard work, but for me, I truly believe that joy lies on the other side of intentionality. And I know that kind of depression is a place that I could find myself in if I don't put good rituals in place. So for me, the effort is worth the reward on the other side.
Yeah, lovely. And so if anybody wants to find out about that, we'll put a link below for them to be able to connect with you, and also a link to the book, because I know the book's being published later on this year, isn't it, which is fab. So I normally ask my guests to bring along something that's, something sentimental. What did you bring along? She says, looking out of her eye and seeing something there.
So I brought my little book, which my daughter made me for Christmas last year. And it's a book of many of our happy memories and little messages on the inside. And each one of them makes me smile because they're lovely times that we've had together, and was really thoughtful of her to make me such a lovely thing.
I'm loving the look here with the green.
That was one of our Zoom calls, one of the alcohol-free ones.
Oh, yeah, fabulous. Oh, this is lovely, isn't it? And why is this so special to you, do you think?
So Emma is my 15-year-old daughter. She is my biggest motivation for what I do. She was, oh gosh, I think I'm going to get upset now. So she was the person in my life that really helped me to feel true, authentic love and joy. And every time I do every time I kind of think about what I do, I'm thinking about what I'm role modelling to her. Obviously, I've got love for many, many other people in my life, but that kind of maternal love that I felt when she was born was a totally different kind of feeling that I could ever describe. And so each day I think about, what am I role modelling to her with how I'm behaving? And that was one of the reasons why I gave up drinking, because I thought that what I was role modelling to her wasn't one of the things that I wanted to role model around needing alcohol for joy.
Yeah. And obviously, there are other people that have, maybe they're drinking, maybe they're eating. Of course, when you did the eating bit and you had the cake, you were already on a healthy eating, regime, diet, whatever, not diet, but lifestyle, because you started to do some work on your own body, and you had another gentleman called Adam who was helping you and supporting there. And last week you got your kit off, didn't you?
I did.
This is lovely. So tell us about that. What happened there?
So, I think I've always struggled with my confidence since, from being, I don't ever remember being confident from being really young. I was always very self-critical of myself, and had a lot of harsh judgment of myself about my body, about my looks, about how I was as a person. And part of that was contributed. So I did have a period of time many periods in my life where I have been overweight. And I got to a stage where I knew that having given up alcohol and that aspect of confidence going out of my life, that even though it was a false confidence, it still gave me some confidence in social situations. When I started to feel that from a body perspective, I was getting to a size that was making me feel uncomfortable, my confidence was starting to decrease kind of even further. So I knew that I had to make some positive changes just to build my kind of mindset back. So it wasn't kind of like an aggressive plan to start with. It was just about eating lots of protein, eating less carbohydrates, the right amount of healthy fats, and building exercising every day and weight training in every day, which is something that I'd never done. So I'd always done a lot of running, but not really any strength training. As I got more into the plan, kind of like over the past couple of months, it's become much more aggressive in terms of the amount of cardio I was doing every day and the amount of weight training that I was doing each day, which, to be honest, isn't sustainable for me in the long term, but in the short term, it helped me to get some quick results. And I did a photo shoot last week, kind of showing the impact before and after. But most importantly, it's helped me to build in healthy habits. So I will now always be conscious about what I'm eating. about the amount of water that I'm drinking, and about the amount of exercise that I'm doing. So this week, for example, I've obviously not, the photo shoot's done, but I've chosen to get up 4 mornings since I've done the photo shoot and go running and to go weight training. And it's because I've made the shift in my mind about, I know it's a good thing to do for my body and for my mind.
Yeah, brilliant. And I know you have, well, let's be honest, quite a stressful job. Your role in the, is it classed in the NHS? Is that correct? That's right for me to say that. Yeah. And obviously in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, that's been even more, heightened because of the COVID, etc. So, it's definitely like your resilience, the fact that you're not even drinking at weekends or anything now, you're much better health. I mean, we're very grateful that you're alive, so that's really good. Thank you very much for doing that. And the fact that you're now finding joy and being able to find that space, like you say, it is an ongoing journey, isn't it? And it's not like you go, oh, there you go, I've got joy now in my life. But I love the fact that I heard you say, sometimes it's just the really little things. So if you were to give somebody some advice now about what, now aren't there, but is there something that comes to mind that you just go, it might just be this, but, that worked for you? What would you share?
I think for me, it would be about notice. So notice what's going on with you and your emotions regularly. So I set a joy alarm every day, and my favourite song plays, Let's Get Loud. And I'll just kind of check in with my emotions and look where I am and notice where I am. Because for me, when I started to do meditation and build up a meditation practice, it made me become aware of things that I'd never been aware of about my emotions, but also things outside. In the environment. So I think it's just about noticing what's going on inside of you, noticing what's going on outside of you. And if things don't feel brilliant, then kind of know what it is for you to change it. It'll be different for everybody, but just know the things that are going to kind of really make you feel good. Your favourite song, favourite exercise, whatever you're going having a lie down, whatever it might be for you, just know when you're feeling in that place that isn't great, what's the thing that changes your state?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Kath. Thank you for bringing us joy today. And you're such a, just someone to look up to and be inspired by. So thank you so much for helping other people to bring joy into their life. If you want to find out more about Kath, then please check the links below. And in the meantime, we just ask you to live, love and laugh every day and bring a bit of joy into it too. See you soon. Bye-bye.